Hello and welcome to episode 13 of the O Snap podcast, hosted by Snap Duo. If you're returning, welcome back. And for anyone new here, my name is Vincent.
And I'm Reese. Today we are going over our biggest lessons we've learned and get into our segment, Snapped.
Yes, but first let's get into our weekly recap.
Very exciting.
Yes, first thing that we did a lot, but we finished our Christmas mini setup.
Yes,
on
we
Friday.
did.
We took pictures with it.
Oof.
But they didn't turn out as good as we thought it was going to be. We bought these little trees from Hobby Lobby for a decent price, and they seemed a little too small, and the background was a little too much for the trees. They looked like weeds.
It was all like minor things.
Yeah.
I can say as soon as we put them on the computer, though, we both were like,
It didn't look good at all.
It's too much. The background was beautiful, but it's too much of a background that it takes away from the Christmas mini setup.
Yes, so we are simplifying it. We had the little trees. We also had these gifts too around us.
Too much.
It was just too much. Didn't turn out good. So
we're going with simple is better.
Yes.
And doing that again tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow we'll be taking photos and then editing them and then announcing them on Wednesday.
Correct.
Which is, if you're watching right now, it's right now.
So check out our Christmas minis.
How about that?
So that's exciting. I'm excited to take the pictures over again. Yes, we will be in the photos.
Yes.
We think that our clients actually like to see our faces. So
why wouldn't they?
So we're going to do a little photo shoot of us tomorrow, which means I have to get ready.
Woo woo.
But all good.
Yes.
And then Saturday. Oh, Saturday was so exciting.
Saturday we had a maternity shoot at the beach. And where did they fly in from?
Vegas.
Viva
Las Vegas.
I don't want to get copyrighted, but yes, they flew in from Viva Las Vegas.
And we did not know that until we showed up to our session and asked where they found us.
Yes.
Which was a referral on What's Up Huntington Beach.
Woo woo.
And we're like, oh, okay, so you guys live out here. And they're like, no, we just love the beach. So went on that Facebook group, put in a referral. Someone referred us. Thank you. And they flew out to California for us.
Yes.
Which is so exciting.
It was
that type of thing I don't think will ever get old.
Oh, no. It was a very special session, and we cannot wait to share more.
Very excited to start editing that. I think we're going to do that tonight. I can't hold out any longer.
Yeah.
So that was great.
And then Sunday we
also got pizza that night.
Yeah. Sunday we had... You want to talk about the pizza?
No, go ahead.
Why do you want to talk about the pizza?
Because we did more than just have a session on Saturday.
We
went out to dinner with Dad.
We went out to dinner, yes, for pizza, and then we went out for dessert.
Correct. Okay, now go ahead with your Sunday.
You happy now?
No.
No? Okay. Sunday, we had a 6-month-old photo shoot.
At a baseball field.
At a baseball field, yes. And he was wearing a little jersey, and they had the baseballs and the bats. And it turned out really good.
2 older brothers and an older sister. And I guess both the brothers play baseball. So we got to do that, and it was a lot of fun. It was a little hot. I wore a long sleeve and a sweatshirt, which was a little much.
A little much. Too many layers.
Correct. But that was a very fun shoot.
Yes, and then after that, the rest of the day, we pretty much took off, and we watched The Fog.
For the first time by John Carpenter.
The very first time. And I know on the notes right here, I tried to type out charcuterie board.
It's very
if
interesting.
You try to spell it out, it sounds correct.
Very interesting way of spelling.
Charcuterie. Charcuterie board.
But yeah, we had a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
And Little Debbie zebra cakes.
Those are so good.
They're so good, but we started our diet today, so they are in the trash.
Bummer.
We also forgot on Friday, after we did the Christmas mini setup, we went to my papa's football game again, which was a lot of fun.
Yes. It was a very good football game.
Mm-hmm.
Very depressing in the very beginning.
It was not looking too great.
The team was not doing well. They had no motivation whatsoever. But at the very end...
And when we say the very end, it was like the last 10 minutes.
It was the last 10 minutes. They pulled through, and they got like a burst of energy and motivation from, I think, either the coaches or the
Crowd. I think it's
crowd that
both.
was there. I think it was a
Yeah.
combination of both. And they ended up winning it.
Yeah, we went into overtime
Yeah.
and won the game, which was incredible.
It was a very high anxiety game, but it was really fun.
Our whole family went, and so minus my brother, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Great
Very
time.
good. Sorry, I had to add that in. I like going to Papa's games.
Oh, yeah.
He has a big one coming this Friday, so we may or may not be going.
Yes, sir.
More than likely, we'll be going.
Yes, sir.
The fog was really good last night. Charcuterie board was even better, and we went to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Today is that we're filming this is Monday. I don't think we've done anything today other than film this.
Today we went to
We went to Rodrigo's for lunch.
we got shrimp fajitas, which are gluten-free.
Shared them
We got corn tortillas, which are gluten-free.
and corn tortilla chips.
We drank water, which is gluten-free, vegan, and everything free.
And now I'm drinking my Diet Coke.
And I'm drinking a matcha.
Ew.
Eat a Diet Coke.
Ew.
Whatever.
So gross. I think that covers that.
Yeah, that covers our weekly recap. Now,
Let's get into some of the lessons we've learned over the last 2 years of business.
dang. Okay, so I have
Learned many lessons, so this is going to be fun.
Yes,
Give me
I-
your questions.
I have a couple of them. What are some lessons we've learned when it comes to client communication?
Okay. I would say the more communication, the better. Never, ever, ever feel like you make your clients feel like you don't want to talk to them or they're asking too many questions. I think that's something that we do a lot is reassure them like, hey, whatever you want, ask.
Yeah.
Um,
Patience. Patience as well.
Correct. Because some clients take, a few days, few weeks to respond.
A few months.
A few months. So I think we've learned patience. We've also learned, I think, a lot how to speak to our clients in a way that makes everything concise so they know exactly what they're getting, how their shoot's going to go, when they're going to get their photos back. I think communication as a whole has been a very
I think
lesson.
it's really good, especially with how we communicate with our clients, where when they want to book a session, we'll send them a text or whatever, or if they call us, we'll tell them the information, but we'll put pretty much 90% of all the information that they need to know into one text message so that all they have to do is just read that and pretty much know everything that's...
And sometimes they don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll come back to us like a week before their session and be like, hey, I have this A, B, and C question. And we'll be like, we've already... But we have no problem reiterating it.
But I feel like because we do include so much information in one text, it makes for a better experience for our clients.
Well-informed client is the best.
Yeah.
What was the original question?
The original question, what are some lessons we've learned when it comes to client communication?
Client communication. I would say...
Some people aren't the best texters either.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say, is that we have...
Which I'm not the best texter either. I like to be
horrible.
on the phone. Like, if I get a text right now, I won't respond to it for maybe a week or so unless I see it, but sometimes I just don't see it. But if you call me, I'll answer.
The only person I know that you consistently text every single day is my father.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only person. I don't see you ever responding to anybody else.
No.
I think that, what you were saying is that we've had it a few times where we were like, oh, they're upset with us. They don't like our work. They are, unhappy just because they're simply not responding or
Prices.
or they're a little dry in their messages.
Yeah. Which we're used to.
And then they'll go ahead and like post our photos online and be like, thank you, Snap
We
Duo, for the
love
best
them.
session. We're so happy. And we're like, okay, so they're just not texters.
Yeah.
So
Which is fine. We've grown used to that.
So now I think we don't take texting as seriously.
We don't take it to heart as much.
No.
Yeah. So the next question is, what are some lessons we've learned when it comes to our storytelling?
Through our work?
Yeah, through our work.
Ooh, that's like a good one. For photography specifically, I feel like with weddings especially, I've learned which photos need a little bit of drama to them, if that makes sense. Rather that's a darker edit or adding grain.
Or black
and white.
Or making it blurred.
Making it blurred. My big one with black and whites is I've I feel like I've mastered whether or not it's a crisp black and white or a
Grainy.
grayed out grainy black and white.
Yeah.
Every photo tells a different story, whether it's the bride and groom having their first kiss or, the bride having a touching moment where she's crying before she walks down the aisle. And I feel like the edit that you choose and the way I edit a certain photo is how that photo is going to come across.
Yeah.
If you have bright poppy colors, happiness, where the bride's having a moment where she's crying.
I was just thinking of the highly saturated photos that some people do where they're like overly saturated and it looks just fake.
Right. We're good at not doing that.
But yeah, I would say it's really important to add those black and whites and the grain and all that, especially with the moment that you were just talking about.
I'm a sucker for black and white.
Yeah.
And that's recently, within the last like 3 weddings, I would say, black and whites to me are just chef's kiss.
I think they definitely are a more dramatic look to them.
More dramatic look and also more like editorial, I feel like, too. So, I would just say you have to really also remember what was going on at that specific time when you're taking the photo, because our bride and grooms, they go back and look at these photos to remember how they felt on that day, and the edit really helps them remember that feeling. So I hope that was a good enough answer.
And
how
then
about you?
I would say for video, I think it's what's helped me is to listen to the bride and the groom or whoever, like with the one bride and groom that we had at the Hidden Valley golf course. She had talked about her love for Friends.
Oh my goodness.
And
this part of the video made her sob, I think, more than any other part.
And so she had talked about Friends, and then at the very end of her wedding video, we added in, who is it, Phoebe, and she was talking about her lobster.
Okay, well, you have to also note that the back of her robe when she was getting ready at her wedding had the one where she found her lobster.
Oh yeah.
So like they are like diehard Office, or not Office, sorry.
I'm an Office fan.
Friends fans.
Reese is an Office fan as well, or a Friends fan.
Friends fan. But it's like those specific touches that you do for our clients.
Things. Yeah,
is what they.
Or like in the wedding films when the pastor or the officiant is talking about the rings, I'll add in the shot that they're putting the rings on each other. Mm-hmm.
There was also one wedding video that you did where they were talking about like I found my son, like he's my warmth, or it said something about finding a son, or he lights up my world, and you had this like beautiful sun flare going through the video. It was Robert and Amy. I don't know if you remember that, but it's just like those little tiny parts that he'll do that really tells the story of what's going on. And I know our clients appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely think that over the years we've gotten a lot better at storytelling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes. So with that also, though.
Because I would like to add, with our first few weddings, I would just like kind of go through it. If I had like 3 shots that were similar, I would just pick a random one out of those 3 to make black and white, just to like make sure I get a black and white in there.
Feel like,
and I don't do that anymore.
Like what I just explained about how what the bride and the groom were talking about, I feel like it could be difficult for some photographers and videographers to like get that kind of information if they don't take time to think during the wedding day, because weddings go so fast.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of photographers and videographers don't pay attention as much because their eyes are in the lens. So I feel like that's one part of advice that I would give to other photographers and videographers, is to just look up from the lens periodically and always have your ears open.
Take it in.
Yeah.
Quick question for you. Would you say that having both of us there and our second shooter at some of our weddings helps a little bit? Because any moments that I didn't see with my own eyes or I didn't get to experience, you get to fill me in on that on our way home, and vice versa.
Yeah, I would 100% say that. And I think that's why having a photography and videography duo, or photography and photography duo, is so great, because while I might forget something, you might remember it, and vice versa. So I feel like, and
there's also been times where April, we'll be doing something with the bride and groom specifically, and she'll be out with the guests or the bridal party, and she'll be like, oh my goodness, you'll never believe this story I heard from one of them about the bride and groom. And it's like, wow, that's beautiful, but we wouldn't have known that. Yeah. So she's like our third set of ears sometimes.
Yeah.
So I that's a question I had for you, because I was just curious. I definitely think that it helps with our storytelling, is the fact that there's two of us that get to experience different things during the wedding and
Right.
report back at the end of the day.
Yeah, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So then the next question I have are, what are some lessons we've learned when it comes to consistency?
Ooh.
I like to say one. Presets, presets, presets. Presets
so
will
I'll-
help you be so consistent you have no idea.
I'll expose myself here.
Uh-oh.
So in the beginning of and this is not my fault, okay?
And I think we've
it's a
talked
learning
about this
experience. I don't
before.
think we have.
We're talking about Apple Photos, right?
No.
Oh, boy.
At the beginning of our journey of our business, we were trying to find our editing style that worked best for us.
Mm-hmm.
And
Which is very difficult.
we both went on and purchased, like $4 presets, things like that, so that we could play with them. When I say this as a photographer, when you purchase a preset, it's not like you just get that and copy and paste it. So a preset, pretty much, you can do that. I mean, if that's how you want to run your business, but a preset is kind of like a starting point. It's
the blueprint.
It's like when you get a tattoo and they make the stencil for you. It's the blueprint. So I was going and purchasing all of these presets and messing with all of them. And the issue that I had was I'd have one session where I'd edit it with a specific preset. Vincent would do his editing on it, send it out. Well, then the next session we would do, say I wouldn't like that preset at that location or that lighting. So I would just pick a different preset. So every single session was different.
Yeah.
Different lighting, different mood, different, and people notice that on your social media. It's not consistent.
Right, especially if you go on somebody else's page and you click on it and they have photos, but they're all different colors.
So you don't know what you're going to get when you book with us. You don't know how the photos are going to turn out, whether we're going to be in a light mood or a dark mood.
Yeah.
And that is something that we did for a while.
I have a great example.
Which I feel like was okay because we were trying to find our style and our niche. And so that's a big lesson I've learned. Since then, we have narrowed it down to one preset.
Yeah.
And from there, I've created multiple versions of that, depending, but it all is similar.
I was going to show, I guess I can show it. Okay, so I want you to talk. I have a picture. This is just on Lightroom on mobile, so it's not an accurate representation.
And we don't edit on Lightroom mobile.
We edit on Lightroom
Classic.
But I just want to show them that just because you have the preset doesn't mean that it edits the photo for you. So I want you to talk. I'm going to click the button, and people are going to be shocked. Okay,
which preset are you using?
Yeah.
Ours?
The one. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but you can't see it.
The one we use for social media, or the one that we use like on social media stories, or the ones that I use?
The real one.
Okay.
The Big Mama.
The Big Mama.
So here we go.
Our one and only. Okay, so what you're going to see right now is a raw image. And from that raw image, he's going to click a preset. When he clicks that preset, you're going to see that if it'll ever focus. Oh, your phone's off. You're going to see that the preset will come up. And this is really going to show you, there you go, that one touch is not all it takes. So from there, 1, 2, 3. Look at that. That's what the preset did.
That's what it did. Oh.
Okay, so it almost looks like his phone's turned off and you can barely see them. So from there, we've got to work on exposure, contrast, HSL sliders.
Wow.
Come on. So that's just showing you guys that a preset is not a do-all, finish it, and send it out. So that's long story short, I think that's what I've learned. The lesson is,
and the same thing,
consistency is key.
Yes, and the same thing applies to LUTs as well.
LUTs is what you use for video editing.
Yeah, that's what I use for video editing. And when I first clicked the LUT, everybody and everything is orange, bright orange.
Oh, I know.
And so I have to go through and tweak it and get the lighting and everything.
And while doing that, we also have to keep in mind our brand and what we've created for ourselves, because I can tweak the preset as much as I want, but I have to really be careful not to do it too much so that it's out of brand for the work that we normally do, so that we still provide our clients with work that they're expecting.
Yes.
And the quality that they're expecting.
Well, I think this is a good question. Following the last one, what are some lessons we've learned about scaling? We just talked about consistency. What are some things we've learned about scaling? And how have we tried to scale our business?
Okay, can you tell me what scale means?
So scale is
I think I have an idea, but I want to make sure before I start talking about something random.
scaling a business is essentially a business not mastering but becoming good at a specific something and then almost turning the page to a new chapter.
Okay, so like what we did with weddings.
What we did with weddings, correct?
With scaling, I would say that we took our time, but also went rather quickly at the same time, if that makes sense. The last thing that we were going to do, and I've touched on this before, I believe, on one of our podcasts, the last thing we wanted to do was to jump into things prematurely before we weren't ready.
Right, and I just looked up the definition of scale just to
That
be
is
sure.
it.
Setting the stage to enable and support growth in our company, which is exactly what we did.
Correct. So I would say that specifically for engagements and weddings, hopefully they're only going to have this once.
Yeah.
These photos, these videos is only going to be once. So the last thing that we wanted to do was speed into something that we were not ready for and we could not provide. And that just meant trial and error. For example, there was a, you okay?
I was just looking at the
time.
I was going like this.
Oh yeah. Every time you pick that up, I've watched it move in my view.
Sorry.
For example, there's been times where we will get an opportunity from like a family or a friend to be able to try new things. And I think that we could say that we did that pretty much with Bailey and Alex's wedding.
Yeah.
That was our first. I was not the photographer for that wedding. But I did get to edit some photos from that wedding for a trial, and Vincent provided, I think still to this day, it is my favorite wedding video you've ever done. And I'll say that until probably we retire.
I mean, you are a little biased.
I'm a little biased because of who it is, but at the same time, it's just, it's a great wedding video. So it was trial and error. I think that we're truly blessed with the fact that we got to have that trial and error wedding. Ooh, this just moved.
There was an opening and we took it.
There was an opening and we took it.
And I feel like a lot of people, I feel like most people in their lives will have something open up. And 50% of them will take it and 50% of them don't. But the thing that they all can agree on is that the 50% who don't wish they did.
Because we could have definitely told them that we weren't ready for that, or say that I wanted you as my date to the wedding. I was a bridesmaid. And I didn't want you to have to work on our vacation. I could have done that, but that's just not how our mindset is, I don't think.
I had a lot of fun doing it. It was the best experience. And I think it was the perfect wedding to do that. It was a beautiful venue. There was a lot of people. So I felt like that really helped us too, because I still don't know if we've had as big of a wedding.
250 people now.
No, we haven't. And so I feel like to start really high up there with 250 plus people, it just set the stage to make our life so much easier for what we deal with now.
Right.
Because it's pretty rare that we do a 250 wedding
guest
people,
True. I would say also that I learned so much from that wedding because of the amazing photographer that she had hired for the wedding. Because Vincent was the videographer.
Without her, I mean, okay, I'll be honest. I didn't do any research like before the wedding. Like
right.
Maybe I've seen things on social media that I thought were cool, but as far as research, I just didn't. I don't know why I didn't. I normally do research on new things.
I feel like you were confident that you could do it.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of the shots that I got were because of that photographer.
I will say to that, even to this day, certain things that I do at weddings, I learned from her that day.
She's a very talented photographer. She's not based here in California. She's based in Colorado now, but at the time she was based in Wisconsin, and that's why she was there.
She's amazing, and she's such a nice human being, where she knew that this was Vincent's first wedding as a videographer, and she also knew that we had
a business.
Yeah, she did. We talked to her about it in the closet, in the storage closet. Mm-hmm. And we were... Yeah.
That's where we kept all of our important and expensive gear, in a utility closet.
Right. She followed us that day. She, was so helpful, and she was telling me things too throughout the day, so that I could get knowledge from her. And she was a great teacher. And I owe a lot of what we do now. I mean, obviously I've become a pro myself, but I still do things because of her.
I feel with us, we use each other as a stepping stone into the next chapter of our business and in our lives as well.
Absolutely.
You know, that was a good.
That was a good one.
Did very good on that one. Okay, so the last question is, what are some lessons we've learned about dry spells? And have we learned how to deal with economic cycles?
You gonna make me cry today? From the moment we started our business, we've had a few dry spells within it. We've had moments where we didn't think that it was going to be a busy season, and it was one of our craziest, which was graduation season. Our first year, we didn't know much about graduation season or the fact that it would be busier than Christmas season. But
very busy, especially if you find the right client, and they'll recommend you to 50 other clients.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, no one prepared us. We weren't prepared for what happens once Christmas season and grad season are over.
It gets drier than the Mojave, right?
Mojave.
Yeah.
That first year, it was scary. This last year, grad season ended, wedding season began for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we were fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then our wedding season ended.
Mm-hmm.
And man, did it end. And there was, I think there was like a month where we were sitting here like, well, what are we going to do now? You know, where are the clients? How is this going to work?
I feel like every small business goes through that, though. 100%. They go through the dry spells.
But I think that businesses should learn, which is something that we're doing now, what to do in those dry spells.
Yes, we actually thought of something today that we might be testing out. We're not going to say what it is, but we're going to be testing out over the next maybe 2 or so months, and we'll see if it works. But I feel like it's important for people who have a small business to not get, what is it? It starts with a D.
Dependent?
No. They get like sad, like I'm depressed. I want to quit. What is that called?
Deflated.
Not deflated, but it's whatever. I feel like a lot of people who have a small business and they go through a dry spell get depressed and they want to quit.
I know the word.
I know the word too.
They get
discouraged. They get discouraged. A lot of people who have a small business and go through a dry spell get discouraged, and it's important to know that it's just a dry spell. It'll pass. It's just like a rain cloud.
And everyone goes through it with a small business.
Right. Everybody. And I feel like it's better if you do, because I feel like it's just like with celebrities. The higher that they rise up or the faster that they grow in fame, the harder they fall. And I feel like that's what it is for small businesses too. The faster they grow, maybe they'll get a little more depressed when things go slow and they want to quit.
Right.
I've seen people do that before where they went viral. It was not a family member, but somebody like that. And she did these mats. And she had a saying on them, and the saying was
like
going
floor mats.
Yeah, and the saying was going really viral. But then and she was selling a lot, like thousands and thousands, and then the trend went away, and so did her business.
Yeah.
And she quit, and now she doesn't do anything like that now.
I would say that it happens, and it's important to not get discouraged by it, but also come up with a plan of how you can continue to serve your clients through that time. As far as what we are doing during the economic situation that everyone's in.
Economic cycles.
A really good example, and I think you'll agree, is that for the last 2 years, we've had people come during Christmas time and say, hey, are you doing Christmas minis?
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not. We're doing regular Christmas
and
sessions.
Everybody's different. Okay. Every family's different. They could be going through maybe just a difficult time at their work.
And that being said,
we could be going through a really good time at our work. And we're riding at different wavelengths at that moment.
But that being said, we've also helped families out where they're like, hey, this is my budget. I love your work. Please, can you work with me? And we're like, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But we've never...
9 times out of 10, we always do.
Yeah. But we've never actually had like a Christmas mini price range that's like a lot cheaper, a smaller package. And everyone knows that what the state of everything is right now, people don't have as much disposable money as they usually do for things like photo shoots.
Yeah.
So this year, we really want to help those families out, still get the pictures of your
Yeah,
kids
and
during this era of their life.
I feel like it's important because they could easily go to JCPenney.
You know, no, I checked last year at JCPenney. The photo shoots were at like $250
$250 for what?
for a package because you get prints of them. It was like $250.
I can get a print at Walgreens for 87 cents.
Yeah. So no, I would say no at JCPenney. It's just as expensive, if not
Does
more.
Walmart still do those little?
No.
No, they don't.
No, there's no photo centers at Walmart.
Because you and your
anymore.
dad used to go get those done, right? Yeah.
When I was little.
But I feel like it's important for every photographer to have some kind of deal, and even if you're not a photographer, you're just a small business owner, is to have deals like a Black Friday deal or something
And
like
we
that.
were guilty of that the last 2 years. We never did it, and this year, we're doing the Christmas minis for those people because
Oh,
everyone
damn.
deserves to have the photos.
Yeah.
Everybody does. So I'm really excited about those, and hopefully we'll be able to reach a lot more clients that maybe we were out of their price range, or they just never really what is it, bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet.
Bite the bullet. So we're excited about that. But I would say that's a way that we are adjusting to the times at the moment.
Yeah.
We're doing this Christmas.
So do you want to
people.
name a couple of things that we maybe you've thought of doing for economic cycles? Like say if a recession happened and the economy went to crap. Do you want to share some of the ideas that we have in order to keep what we're doing alive?
You can go ahead and share them.
We have thought about something that is a little sad, but it's also happy too.
Funerals?
Funerals. Funerals, and I only say that because of my mom. My mom said that
Your mom?
Yeah, my mom said that she wished at her mom's funeral
There was a photographer.
that there was a photographer because she doesn't remember anything from the day and she wants to remember it.
We've done 3 funerals, not including my grandma's.
Yeah.
And it's all for the same reason that, these people haven't been together in the same room for a long time.
Yeah.
We don't know when it's going to be next.
And it's very rare that they'll ever go back and look at them, but it's the fact that
you have it.
they have them and that their grandkids or whoever can go and look at them and be like, oh, wow.
Maybe there's a little kid there that doesn't really remember that, person when they're older.
Or that was the last time I got a picture with so-and-so.
Yeah. So they're going to want to go back and look at them. So yeah, funerals, I feel like,
as depressing,
they're really difficult.
As depressing as they sound, it's something that everybody's guaranteed.
The last one we did was really rough on me. I will admit it was very difficult for me to edit.
Yeah.
Because of the circumstances, but I definitely think that it's important for you to have those memories. I mean, we took photos at my grandma's funeral of the people who were in attendance.
Yeah.
And I still look very fondly at those photos. I think it's important. It's just not something that you think of, but then
because there's just so many things going on.
There's so many things
but
going on.
But I feel like it would be easier if, obviously, we wouldn't reach out to the person because that's not.
No, but we would work with funeral homes.
We'd work with, funeral homes and stuff, and then it would be included in a package or something.
Another reason why we got hired for a funeral was because it was a family whose all of their family members lived in the East Coast, and their specific sector of family, it's similar like mine. A lot of my family lives in Wisconsin, and then there's us here. But a lot of them couldn't attend, and they didn't have a live stream set up. So they hired us to video the entirety of the funeral so they could send copies over to the East Coast so they could see it.
Yeah, we made a whole bunch of CD copies.
Yeah, we did.
As well as a USB.
So that's another reason why people might want it videoed, is for the people who couldn't attend and are bummed out about that.
It's kind of the darker side of the photography and videography world.
At least it's not working at the morgue doing those photos.
Or for the police.
That I would just crime scene photos. I love true crime, but I don't know if I could do that.
I can't do anything BLOOD.
Oh, I can.
I don't want to say certain words because I don't want the
demonetized. Are we monetized?
We're not even monetized yet, so we love the confidence though.
But yeah, funerals. It works, and we want to be able to be. It's. I think it's a lot for me to handle because we do we do maternity, we do newborns, we do birthdays, weddings, and then funerals.
And every
You know what I mean?
every business,
It's like every stage.
That's an interesting way to look at it, but
That's how my brain works.
yeah, but I feel like a lot of businesses and a lot of people were able to see businesses change through the economic cycles during what just happened a couple of years ago. Where you would go into a store and you had to wear something in order to go in the store, or they had the plastic up in front of the thing, in front of the cashier stand, or they had to stand 6 feet apart and things like that. But they adapted, and it's because they adapted they're still here today. Some of them shut down, but the majority of them are still open. And
businesses have to adapt to whatever's currently going on.
So while we might not agree with it, on a business side, we agree with it, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know? So.
No matter what the situation is.
Yeah, no matter what. Everybody's got to do what they have to do in order to.
Just to make that clear, we weren't specifically talking about what happened a couple of years ago.
Because
that's what it sounded like.
No.
No.
I get it, and I get the pause. No. I didn't mean it like that. I just meant we might not agree when businesses change. Like, say if the cereal used to be $2.50 and now it's
$7,
$3.50 or whatever. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
But you have to
I
adapt.
can understand it, and all businesses have to adapt. But I was not specifically talking about what just happened.
Yeah.
By the way.
Just to clarify.
Yes. So YouTube, do not come for me, please.
Or people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good way to adapt. I feel like. We'll always be there for people, no matter what their needs are.
We're here 24 hours a day.
Pretty much.
7 days a week. 363 days out of the year.
What 2 days are you off?
Well, I'm off on Christmas.
We worked Christmas Eve one year.
I'm off on our anniversary.
Oh, good to know.
I'm not off on my birthday because I worked on my birthday.
We did have a shoot on your
birthday.
birthday.
What did we do on my birthday? Oh, that really nice family. Yeah.
Really and it was raining.
Yeah.
Was it raining?
It was
sprinkling.
It was a little gloomy out.
Yeah.
So with that, it's time for us to get into our segment, Snapped.
Oh, how exciting.
Yes.
All right, guys. So this week, Snapped, we are going straight to Reddit. The way that this week's segment is going to be framed, it's not one story. I'm going to list off a couple of terrifying moments as a photographer, and you're going to tell me whether or not you think that could have ruined a wedding day.
Okay.
If this would have happened, could this potentially ruin a wedding day?
All right,
let's start with, I kicked out the power supply from the DJ during the father-daughter dance. It was a very tight space. I kneeled down and dark silence. It was a sad day. The bride was cool with it. The father was not. So pretty much she killed all the power during the father-daughter dance.
That will not ruin the wedding day.
It might for the father, but I don't think it's like...
Hey, everybody messes up. You can either make a big deal out of it for no reason whatsoever, or you can be like, hey, we're just going to restart the dance. Okay?
Right. Dropped a bottle of champagne on the wedding cake.
How bad? Have a picture?
From what I read earlier, I think the bottle of champagne was on a box in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
When they opened the box or the fridge,
it fell off.
Yeah.
Well,
I have no photo though.
Well, hopefully it was just on like the back side of it or whatever, and maybe they can, even if it was on the front, they could just spin the cake.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's gonna ruin it.
Correct. Mother of the groom had an affair. I didn't know, but a lot of the guests apparently did know that and talked about this guy and said his name throughout the wedding. When it was time for family pics, I called his mom and what I thought was the father to the front. Everybody went silent and stared at me wide-eyed. Thank God the couple and the parents didn't hear it properly and started talking when I said couple, mom, and dad. But the people around me started laughing and somebody came over and told me that was the name of the other guy. This was in the beginning of my career before I got a detailed list of combinations for families with names. So she called the guy that the mom had an affair with his dad. Personally, I don't think it'll ruin a wedding.
I don't think it'll ruin a wedding, but what the hell are they talking about it for at the wedding?
Apparently, everyone was saying this dude's name during the wedding.
And what's the husband doing there? She's cheating on the husband?
She had an affair, and now she's married to the man that she had an affair with.
Oh, that she had the affair with.
Yeah, and then so the dad was there, his dad, and then the guy she had an affair with is also there because she's married to him.
Okay.
And instead of saying mom and pointing at the actual dad, she
Oh.
called out for the affair husband.
Play it off.
Yeah. Okay, I missed the first kiss because I was changing lenses. Thank God I had a second shooter.
What?
They decided to change lenses during the ceremony.
Why?
Don't
I mean,
know.
I mean, I get why, but I mean, like, you can hear it. You know, they're getting close. And it shouldn't take that long. It shouldn't take that long. You know, there's a way to do it. So you take the lens, and you put the other lens, like, say there.
Okay.
You unscrew. Oh, I'm sorry. You unscrew it like. Wait. No. Yeah. I was right. Like this. You unscrew that, and then you unscrew it to the camera, and then you flip it, lock it, and then you're good to go. It's as easy as that.
Would you say this would ruin
They
a
also
wedding?
have belts.
Yes, they do.
For your
I
lens.
have one. I have a harness
somewhere. Yeah.
If she didn't have a second shooter, do you think that would have ruined the wedding?
No. I don't think so. And you know why? Because as photographers and as videographers, we have the power to say, hey, we want to get that again, but you know what? And I hate to say it, blame the officiant. The officiant was in the way. You say the first kiss, the officiant was in. You can play it off. I've seen people do it where they're like, hey, I just want to get you guys up there again. They looked great the first time. I just want to get you up there again. And we're just going to do a kiss just so I can make sure that everybody's right. Make sure there's no phones.
So just wing it. Didn't look where I put my camera bag. Put it next to an extremely hot light. Bag caught on fire next to the main table, which had a huge floral installation. Thankfully, the coordinator caught it before it got worse. But wow, if there was a scary moment in my career, that was it.
That's really dangerous because in a camera bag or a videographer bag, there's batteries most likely in that thing. Mm-hmm. And if batteries get too hot, they explode. And that's acid going everywhere, hot acid. Yep. So while that could ruin a wedding, I don't think it did.
No. I don't know how or why, but 60% of the weddings I photograph result in the couple breaking up horribly within a year. Not exactly something I advertise, but it makes me super self-conscious during weddings I do shoot. Get out of the industry.
She said 60%?
60%.
Wow.
Get out of the industry. And please advertise this on your website. Please do. So people can run.
You're
bad juju.
I don't think that that's something the photographer should share.
No. I mean, it's on Reddit, so it's anonymous, but.
Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah. Where do you live? That's the question.
So we know when it comes down to us getting married.
Yeah.
At a big wedding, we had about 30 to 45 minutes of straight family photos and different groupings. Absolutely killed it. On my way home, I realized I forgot to get a photo of the bride and groom with just their kids.
Okay. But did she get different variations of the kids? Like, say, the large family?
Yeah.
Easy.
Family photos, different groupings. So the kids are in the photos. So
that's okay.
If Vincent is your editor extraordinaire, it's not a big deal. It's like the kids were there the whole time.
Right. And we're actually working on something like that right now.
Similar, yes.
Yeah.
For one of our brides.
If we mess up.
But ours was not a mess up. It's just adding somebody.
Ours was not a mess up. It was requested, and we're doing that as a request. But if we did mess up and we forgot a certain variation, we'd fix it with a simple Photoshop trick. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think I have one more.
All right. By the way, if you enjoy this Snapped segment or the entirety of all the Snap segments that we do, make sure you give us a like.
I have a really good one.
Oh boy.
Was carrying the wedding dress to hang for photos. I tripped and fell, and my lipstick smeared across the dress.
I'm so sorry.
Her lipstick smeared across the dress, the white wedding dress.
All right. Now,
And this is for wedding dress photos. This is prior to the wedding. This is getting ready photos.
No, I haven't.
Could that ruin a wedding?
I haven't said it yet. That 100% can ruin a wedding
That's it.
because lipstick is extremely potent and normally extremely bright, and a wedding dress is extremely white.
I don't care what color the lipstick is. It could be nude. If it's all over a bright white dress, you just ruined a wedding.
But that's why you hire a good photographer and a good videographer, because we'll make sure that you can't see it.
And you know what sucks is that the person who put this never posted like an update or like what she did. She just put that, and it's like, oh, I want to know.
That sucks. I have one that I just thought of and I saw online.
Okay.
A wedding photographer was going to take a picture of the dress while everyone was getting ready. They were in the hotel room. She hung the dress up on the water fire alarm thing. The water fire alarm went off and flooded the entire hotel room, along with everybody who was in it, all their clothes, all their makeup, and electronics, and everything.
If you have TikTok, you've probably seen the video.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't ruin their day, and I'll tell you that.
It didn't?
It did not ruin their day.
What'd they do?
Moved to a different room. Her cousin,
What about the wedding dress, though?
the makeup artist just left, and the hair lady left because they were
Just
too
left.
They left because she wasn't done getting ready. They left and said that they didn't want their like supplies getting ruined. So she was left soaking wet with a wet dress, wet hair, and wet makeup.
Yeah.
Her cousin redid everything for her. Like getting ready wise. They were able to dry the dress off. No.
It's a good cousin.
No, they were not able. The dress was ruined.
Uh-oh.
She had a court wedding, like an elopement during 2020, I believe.
Yeah.
When you couldn't have an actual wedding. And so they went to her house, picked up that original wedding dress she wore for the court one, and that's what she ended up wearing that day.
Okay.
But she still had a beautiful wedding.
Good.
Everything was great.
Good.
But damn.
That's good.
If you don't have supportive people like bridal party and things like that, it could very well ruin your day.
Yeah.
But because of the people that she surrounds herself with.
You don't have drama queens
Oh, God, no.
a part of your wedding day, because
Please don't.
everything will be drama. You can look at the you can look at the officiant in a certain way just by looking at them, and they go, "Oh my God, did you see that Cindy had the hots for the officiant?" You know, and you
Yeah.
don't want that on your day. So make sure that you have solid, grounded people
Who support you unconditionally.
and not drama queens.
Amen.
Amen.
I think that's it. I have one more, but
Well, we got.
you got time? Okay, my second shooter. Wow.
I got something in my throat.
My second shooter stepped in front of me during the shortest first kiss I've ever seen. Might have been less than a peck. Luckily, I was able to Photoshop her out and combine with a shot of them pulling away. But for God's sakes, why don't couples keep kissing for longer?
Can I tell you what I would have done? If that were our second shooter, and
April.
yes, you know who you are, and say you were there and I were there, because those are the two people who have to be in the middle for the first kiss.
We always are.
And say April came up out of nowhere and
She would
decided to jump
never.
in front of us. She would never do this. But if she did, and say we could see her in our shot, I hate to say it, but I would just have to give her a bump, and she'd probably go down. But that's okay, because we got to get the shot.
Honestly, you know
I'm
that
sorry,
thing that
April. I would check on you after the fact, but you know you'd be okay.
I would roundhouse kick her ASS
You ever see it in the movies?
across the whole
You ever
place.
see it in the
Okay.
movies where like someone's being a pain and you know what, and like I don't know, the parent or something just kind of knocks whoever, and the kid just goes, or whoever.
I would, when you, people are like standing up straight with their knees locked, and you kick the back of their.
Oh, we both would take one knee and we would just do it, and
We would just go.
she'd go right down.
Yeah, she would. I'm so sorry, April, but she would
We're
never do
sorry,
that.
But
It would never happen.
But now she knows what would
She
happen.
is like the number one person that's like, "Where do you want me?" and stays there.
Yeah, she's really good at that. So,
But okay,
but
that's
just know if you ever go in front of our cameras,
we will drop you to the floor.
yeah,
We're not missing the moment.
no, we are not.
But I think that's it. I'm glad this photographer was able to edit 2 photos into one, like you've done before.
Yeah.
To make sure he got that first kiss, but second shooters, stay in your lane.
Yes, sir. So I think that is it for this week's episode, eh?
Oof. This photographer dropped the bride and groom's rings in a pond while he was trying to do detail shots.
That's when you just pick up and leave.
You just leave.
Or just drop your camera in there.
He didn't find him.
Ooh. Yeah. That
Okay, I'm done now. Sorry.
That sucks. So, if you have stayed around this long, we really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and make sure that you hit the notification bell and the like button to get notified when we upload a new video. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure you follow our page and like this episode.
And if you haven't already, go ahead and go on Instagram and follow us at SNAPPDUO so you can see all of our work that we talk about. And get to see a little bit of our life.
Yes, and today, when you're watching this right now, our Christmas minis
are officially out.
So if you want to book one, book one.
Highly recommend.
While spots are still available.
While supplies last.
I said that in a thing earlier, so
but
whatever.
Yes. Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Next week's episode is the Halloween episode.
Yes, next week we will be doing 2 episodes.
No.
Did we decide this?
We're posting on Tuesday instead of Wednesday next week. Because Tuesday's actually Halloween. Wow. So we're going to put out our episode on actual Halloween next week.
Right, I know. And
we're going to have a fun episode.
We're going to have a fun episode. Yes, we'll have a very fun episode. Mm-hmm. There's actually something, you can't see it, but there's something off to the corner over here to my left that is for the Halloween episode, but we haven't showed you guys yet. And I've wanted to, and I thought about it, but we haven't. But it will be a lot of fun. Do we want to give a teaser on what we think it's going to be?
We're doing arts and crafts, and we'll just say that.
Arts and crafts?
Arts and crafts.
Are we painting each other's face?
No, you are not touching my face with paint.
That'd be funny.
Absolutely not. The skin...
Yes.
I've worked too hard.
Yes, but make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode. It will be a lot of fun. And yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye.